Okay, looks like we're all set. Let's get ready. Let's do this. All right. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back to my stream. I'm Pierre, your host. Well, I've been on vacation for the last 10 days. That's why we haven't done any streaming. So does that mean I didn't paint? Of course not. Of course not. Except that I did house painting. I took advantage of my son being on vacation. He's 17. So we decided, or I decided, of course, to repaint the apartment, make it look clean and new again. So that's what we did. A lot of house painting. So I'm really happy we got that project done. It's been like a year I've been wanting to do that. Couldn't really find the time. And then having my son on vacation, well, that made it go twice as fast, which was awesome. So anyways, I'm also happy to be back in the studio. It's kind of a cloudy, rainy day here in Nice, France, yet it feels cool. It's very enjoyable. I see the sun is starting to come out. That's what happens here. You can have a huge thunderstorm where it's raining cats and dogs for like an hour, 2 hours, and then 2 hours later you can be in the beach getting a suntan. So anyways, what are we going to do? We're going to start off with a little refresher. We're going to go over to the computer. We're going to check out what we did last week ago from Monday, see what we did, which was actually to finish this painting. And then we're going to start our day and our new painting from there. So, let's take a look at a quick 15-second recap. Yes, that is right. We worked on the border, doing all these little details. It took us actually 3 days to do all this. Finally got it done on the last day. And that was pretty cool. Happy to get that done. Happy to end the painting. I didn't really expect to take some time off. But I must admit, with the Olympics and then my son being on vacation, and it was also extremely hot, I decided let's take some time off and get this house painting done. So I got that done. So what are we going to do today? So first of all, I'm going to roll up this canvas, put it away once again in the back room where I have my other paintings. And then instead of unrolling and doing another canvas, I am going to work on 3 different paintings at the same time on paper. I was asked by the gallery, which I work with, saying that they wanted a few smaller formats that they could sell at a lower price. Even though a large painting or a small painting, the amount of work that it takes is just about the same. But they wanted something smaller so that their clients could have something smaller, whatever. It's not a problem. So I'm going to go back into my making posters mode. And even though it might be a little more elaborate than when I used to crank out posters to glue in the streets. So anyways, let me get things ready to go here. So first of all, I'm going to get this canvas unstuck from the wall. There we go. Of course, when I'm painting, I tend to spill over and that paint just sticks to the tarp that's behind it. So anyways, carefully, I'm just going to unstick the edges here. There we go, just like that. Clean the edges off also. Very good. There we go. I have a staple here, which I'm going to leave for the time being. Whoops, well, guess that guy didn't want to stay there. So let me get the staple out of there. There we go. Yet I am going to put another one just to allow me to go into, to allow me to go in the back room. Wow, what the hell? There we go. Just so I can get a cardboard roll. There we go. Which I have right here. Just to allow me to roll this painting on it. Very good. So I was ungluing everything over here. I guess I have this entire side here to do as well. And I just pull everything off just like that. Again, I'm going to clean off these edges here. Very good. One more staple right here. Very good. Clean off this edge right there. Okay. So let's carefully roll this up. There we go. Once it's started, it's easy to do. There we go. Let's get rid of this last staple. There. Okay, so I'm going to go and lay this in the back room once again. I don't stand it up because, of course, with gravity, the canvas slides on the cardboard box, and then the bottom of the canvas gets crunched up. So I always lay them flat. So let me just go over here. Lay that baby down, very good. And now I have three sheets of paper. I must admit, very beautiful, expensive paper that I am going to staple on the wall. So, I used to have markers where I used to put these, but apparently I've painted over them. So I'm just going to start off find out a good height to work on. I would say something like that. So let me step back and make sure that looks pretty straight. That looks pretty good. So I have, of course, the fan on back there, which feels good. So all three of these posters are going to be similar, but yet different, because I'm going to use different colors for them. So how's that? That look pretty straight? Let's again step back. That looks pretty good. One, two, and is there room for the third one? There is. Very good. Yes, I should have kept these a little closer together. Just want to make sure that So I think maybe I am going to move these a little closer. Might as well start off right from the beginning. So this first one, I think that first one's okay. I'm just going to move this one a little bit closer, just like that will be. I won't have to move the cameras all the time. You know, I have camera number 1, and then over there I have camera number 2. So I just want to make sure that, there we go. So I'll just move this a little closer, just like that, and I have to be a little more careful not to spill over. So. There we go. And let's get the third one. So I haven't done a series of, oops, I'm out of staples. Typical. So I haven't done a series of posters in like almost 2 years, ever since I started streaming. So that's going to be kind of fun. So here's a box of staples. There we go. Okay, very good. So I need my compass. I'm going to do a series of 2 circles per poster. There we go. So let me just step back and take a look and see exactly what I'm going to be doing. Get the right size as well. One circle here, then another circle maybe right there. Something like that. Maybe right there. So, I have no idea what size these papers are. So that's 57 centimeters by 76 centimeters. So the center would be about 23. Basically, no, that's not right. There. La. Okay, so we said 56. What, about 28? They help us. It's not right either, is it? God, I hate math. It's so easy though. All I have to do is divide in 2, right? Jeez. Okay, so let's go about 28 centimeters. That would be about the center of the width. Now, I'm going to eyeball my circles. I want one circle, let's say, to be about that big. Okay, so that big, I can make my pencil a little smaller. Thought these were going to be bigger, but right about right there, I would say. And I want this to be bigger, right? Okay, so that looks about right. I'm going to try that. There's my first circle. So I'm going to do that on all three of these. Oops. There we go. And I'm going to do the same over here. Nailed. There we go. And then I'm going to make this smaller circle. Smaller circle, I want it to bite into this one as well. So how's this look? Good if I keep slipping, of course. How's that look, or is that too big? Doesn't look bad, but I think it's just a little bit too big. So I'm going to shorten it by a ½ inch or so. Make it a little smaller. Like that. So let me get my eraser here. I don't get all confused. And this one goes. And this one goes. Okay. We're getting there. We're getting there. Just like that. Okay. Wow. Now I think it looks a little too small, that second circle. So we are just going to make it a little bit bigger. Of course, I'm eyeballing all this. And I got to get it right now, right? Otherwise, the whole thing won't look right. So let's erase this and take a look. See if I got it right this time. Yes, there we go. I think that looks much better. So let's lock the compass. There we go. That looks about right. Doesn't have to be exactly the same. Close enough is good enough. There we go. And we will erase these guys that we don't need anymore using this dirty eraser. Makes things even worse. It will all be covered up, so it doesn't really matter. It's going to be painted over, but still. Okay, there we go. So that's phase one. Phase two is putting on the first coat of the background color. And I am going to go with the colors that I kind of discovered with our last painting, which are the range of turquoises. Turquoise paints that I used. So let's put these guys away. Let me get my clean off a palette here. There you go. And this is so, I'll show you on camera number one here. This is the great secret of acrylic paints. It's that it's a polymer emulsion that holds the pigments together, right? So on a non-porous surface like this plastic top, well, the paint just kind of peels off, as you can see, and then you end up with a brand new palette underneath, which is pretty practical, pretty cool. And as you can see, acrylic paint is nothing but plastic, really. So anyways. So I'm just going to get a couple palettes ready because I am going to use 3 different colors for the background. There we go. I'm going to use some turquoise green, some turquoise blue, and a mauve purple, light purple. At least that's what I have in mind for the background color. So I'm just getting 3 palettes really very quickly together here. Take just a few seconds. You saw how easily that, once it started, how easily it peels off. And there we go. Here's another one, just peels right off. In the wintertime, it's a little more difficult because the paint takes longer to dry, so it doesn't peel off as easily as it does during the summertime. But here in Nice, I guess winters are really just basically 6 weeks long, so can definitely live with that. So there we go. I mean, you remember, right, that the stream is all about everything that goes on in the studio. So that means getting things ready, preparation. I mean, that's what I had to explain to my son when we were house painting. I said, just about every project you do, there's 4 phases. The first phase is getting everything ready, right? Getting your tools, materials ready. The second and third phase are, well, first of all, if you're house painting like we were doing, the first phase of the painting was cutting the room, right? Using the paintbrush to cut all the edges of the room. The third phase, of course, was rolling the paint to finish everything off. And then the fourth phase is the cleanup, putting everything away, washing all the materials. So, and that's what we're doing right now. We're doing phase one, which is just about getting everything ready to go to roll with. There we go, might as well. I'm gonna do this one too. I had a feeling it was gonna peel off pretty easily, and I was right. There we go. So I got several palettes to go with. So let's start off with this turquoise green. And to dig way down in there, I don't have that much left actually. I must have had this jar for a long time because I don't use this color. I haven't used this color in ages. To be honest, I don't even remember last time I used it, except for the painting that we just finished last week. Okay, so got that done. Like usual, gonna clean off my knife. Always clean off the tools right away. There we go. We're going to reuse this knife, and I don't want to mix all the colors together, obviously. That is why we are cleaning this off right away. There we go. So now I have to figure out, am I going to go with a light turquoise green with some darker shading on top of it? Or am I going to go with the darker green with some light shading on top of it? That is a good question, and I think I'm going to go with the lighter. So I'm going to add a little bit of white paint to this. And I think it'll look quite nice. Looks like I'm going to have to dig deep in here as well. And for that, I'm going to use a spoon. There we go. And what brush am I going to use? I might as well get that out right now. This one looks like a pretty good candidate. Put that to soak for a few seconds. There we go. And I'm going to clean off my spoon with that brush. So we have about a 7 hours difference between France and Japan. So I've been watching the Olympics a little bit in the mornings. It was kind of fun. I always enjoy sports. Watching the American teams, watching the French teams. I have so many teams to root for. The only dilemma is when France is playing the US. That's when that's when I have problems. I don't know who to root for. Usually when I was in the States, I'd root for France, but when I'm in France, I kind of root for the States, so pretty confusing all that. I never know who to... Though France, I usually go for the underdog, and usually France is the underdog. So, I am mixing all this together very quickly here. I should have done this on camera number 1. I'll do that right now, just for the finishing touches. Not much to see. I already kind of blended already the white with the turquoise green, but see that it is a pretty color. Very pastel-like, which is kind of the colors they have in south of France that I never use. My colors are more electric, I would say. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Hopefully I have enough to cover the whole canvas or the So let me just move the camera over like that, since I'll be starting probably right here on the left-hand side. I'm going to move it over to the side because I don't want to be standing in front of the lens. Of course, it's going to distort everything a little bit. Maybe I could come back here a little bit and just zoom in. I don't know. We'll figure it out as we go along. I haven't done posters on air before, so just going to grab a little drop of water here. Just add a little more water and make this a little more liquid. I don't think it'll lose its opacity. And since it's on paper, I don't think I will have to put 2 coats either. I have to go with the mentality that I'm making posters. So I just want to go quick and not make it too elaborate, but that's what I say. I don't know if I'll be able to do it, but let's try it. So again, just want to make sure all this is nice and blended in. One more shot there, one more stir. Okay. There we go. So let's go to camera number 1 and start laying this down. So. Also, I haven't painted on paper in so long. Hope I'm not going to run into something I forgot about. Don't have to get too close to the circles because there will be a black outline to them. I do want to get close, but I don't need to get too close. So let me zoom in a little bit because I could see I was kind of in the way. Let's try like. Now, I do remember that paint tends to darken as it dries. Don't think that will be a problem though. Trying to get the both sides, both edges done first, this side and this side, because in the middle I will have my masked bandit there. So it's not as important if I get those sides. What is important though is to get the rest. I am going to be just on my quantity of my paint, but all this part here doesn't really matter. Well, this will just about cover it. I'll make a little bit more for the other paintings. There we go. So there's our first one, first background color. Now for the second color, I'm going to do that light purple. What's this here? Primary blue. That's not what I want. This is what I want right here. The purple. And I'm also going to dilute with white paint to make it very light as well. So let's do that. Again, get my little knife out here. Just trying to get rid of this extra, all this dry paint that I thought I had already gotten rid of, but there are little chips that I don't want falling in the paint. There we go. That should do it. All right. So, get the purple out. I did put quite a bit there. And that's because I didn't really want to run out of paint. And now I'm going to add the white to it. And for that, I got to rinse off my knife first. Oh no, I'm going to use the spoon, but I still got to wash my knife. So I'm going to look for excuses to cut corners. There we go. So I'm basically all alone in the building. Everybody's on vacation. And I don't blame them. Problem is that the last couple, no, I came in yesterday because somebody brought me these sheets of paper. So I came in yesterday. I didn't paint, obviously, but it sure felt good to be in the studio. Really, I crawl. I get bored if I'm not painting. I enjoy it so much. So, anyways, so let me go. Let's add some white paint to this. I'm gonna add quite a bit because I want this purple to be very light in color if possible. And actually, let me bring camera number 1 over here for a second because I am going to go into my little kitchen area back here just to clean off my paintbrush because I'm going to be using the same paintbrush for the background because it just works so well. So let me just step over here for a second. There we go. I'm not going to use any soap. Just wanted to get rid of that turquoise. And here we are. We're back here. So let me get camera number 1 ready for the next painting. There we go. And I guess, no, not even. So let me get clean off my spoon here. Boy, I've often mentioned on this stream that I need so many rags. I go through rags like unbelievable, and I never seem to have enough. So anyways, like that. And now I'm going to bring a little bit of water way over here. We're going to mix these colors in together. So let me just switch cameras then. Go back to number 1. We're just going to come back down here. Okay, nice mustache. And we're just going to mix all these colors. I'm maybe not going to use all the purple right away because it's such an intense color. And let's just blend the white first. There's a lot of water there for now. I might have put too much purple, so I don't want to use that at all. Too bad. It's a lot of waste, but which I hate doing. Let me just move all the white to this one side. There we go. Let's just blend all this in. Get nice and homogeneous. So that's the purple I was looking for, a nice little light violet. Let's just blend all this in. Of course, I'll be putting some shading on top of that and details on top of that. This is just the background, but this will give us a general idea of the color of our painting. There we go. Look at that. That's beautiful. Beautiful little purple there. Okay, so let me just bring the camera back up then. Move it back to the side here. And just like with the other one, we will start by going around the circle first. There we go. I guess I can tackle that just right now. This is where I'm going to be. So, it's getting the hard part done first, right? Part where I have to be the most concentrated is going around those circles. Again, no need for me to be that close to them, but yet for some stupid reason, I can't help myself. Okay, there we go. So, let's try not to get on the turquoise. Let's blend in this as well. Very good. This also, when it dries, will tend to darken. Funny, I feel like I'm out of practice, and all I've been is like away for, what, 9 days, 10 days? Just get another drop of water here. There we go. Again, I'm doing the part that's going to be in purple that we will see first, and then the part that will be covered up, I'll do that last, which is what I'm doing right now. So that's what we want, is just one solid color for right now, because we'll be blending in the shadowing later. Okay, so there we go. Paper number 2. Painting number 2. Okay, very good. So let's come back to camera number 2. And now we're going to do the blue turquoise. Turquoise blue will be our third color. So let's get this. One of these clean palettes that we did earlier. A little bit of this turquoise blue, and then we're going to add water and white. But maybe we'll start off with the white first. No, what we'll start off with is me going to wash my paintbrush like we did earlier. So let me just bring camera number 1. Like that, you can keep an eye on me, make sure that I didn't step out and go to the bar or something. Go. And now I'll just take the paintbrush and go to the back here and wash this off. Rinse this brush. And I might as well get some fresh water as well. Maybe for this, I'll use just a little bit of soap. Because the purple seems to overwhelm all the other colors. So, there you go, a little quick soap and water. And now we can go with the turquoise blue. There we go. So I'll lay this down. I'm just gonna come over here for a second and grab some water. Yes, it's not very cool, but it's wet. So, what are we going to do here? We're going to grab our spoon again. We're going to add a bunch of white paint again to make this as light as possible. And then we'll just make our shading a little darker. So, this time I made quite a bit more of the white paint. So let me just once again clean off my spoon. I thought I had some cleaner rags. Here we go. There we go, much better. All right, very good. There we go, little spoon, put that there. And I guess I will go back to, I'll go back to camera number 1, just so we can blend these colors together. There we go. So come on down here. There's our blue turquoise and the white, so I'm probably going to need a lot more water than this, but still, it's a good start. And I do have some water right over here. Might as well grab it nice. There we go. Whoops. There we go. I'm gonna pull that back a little bit. just want to blend all this so it's nice and homogeneous. I will need more water because that is awfully thick, but to blend it, it's fine. There we go. Okay, so let's pull this up. I'll move the camera again to the side so I'm not in front of it. Zoom in just a little bit. And just like before, let's go around our circles here. Yes, I forgot how paper soaks up the paint compared to a canvas that has gesso on it. I'd forgotten about that little detail. Not that it changes much. There we go. Okay, let me just grab a little dip of water. There we go. So again, it feels like I'm in front of the lens. That's so annoying. Let's try that. So I got a lot of water. I can hear it dripping all over the place. As long as it doesn't drip almost 2 circles, it doesn't matter. Yeah, this time I made plenty of paint. And I can just really go to town with it, not having to worry about anything. There we go. Let me just still add a little bit of water. There we go. And we'll tackle the lower part. I can see already as it's drying that it's getting a little bit darker. No big deal. There we go. There we go. So, pull the camera back. I'll pull it all the way back here so we can see all 3. So can you see the difference between the green turquoise and then the blue turquoise? They're very similar, but not quite. One is slightly greener, the other one is more in the cerulean blues. But anyways. Okay, very good. Unfortunately, they're not quite dry yet. That's too bad. So maybe I will. Maybe I'll be able to put just a little bit of shading today. I would like to do that, honestly. So let me get this out. Let me pull back our cerulean, not cerulean, what am I talking about? Our turquoise green. Let me just put a little bit there. And we're just gonna dab on this. Now, if this was a painting reel like I do, those 66 by 64 inch paintings that are fairly large, I would probably wait till tomorrow and put a second coat of this background color. But since I'm going with the attitude, this is a poster, it's got to go quick, it's going to be glued in the street, even though this is going to a gallery and it won't be glued on the street, I am still going with that mentality. So on this turquoise green, I can see there are street marks of the paintbrush, but screw it, I don't really care because I'm going to be putting some shadowing. After that, there's going to be some of those little planets that I put on top of them. I'm going to be splattering paint, so therefore the background, you'll never see it. So that's why I'm not going to worry about it. And that's that. So what I am going to worry about is getting the right paintbrush to do my shading. And I need kind of a little stiff brush because I'm not going to be really painting. I'm just going to be dabbing some shadowing. So which one of these two guys? One is a little larger than the other one. And then I do have this a little bit larger as well that I've used many times. And I'm going to go with that one instead of the new paintbrush. There we go. So let me soak this up just for a split second. And that is going to be awfully dark. So I'm going to add some white paint to it. Just a little bit of white paint on the side, on the corner. And then I'm going to slightly blend in the white paint so it's just a little bit darker than this light turquoise green. I don't want it to be too dark, you see. I don't want it to be too obvious. So, and I don't know the right amount of, I think I put too much there, so I'm just gonna just put a little bit on the edge like that. I'll save the rest of this white for the other colors, because we'll do the same thing. So, again, I'm gonna come back to camera number 1. I'm going to move it over here where I have that jar of water right there. So there's the dark, which I think is going to be a little too dark. So I'm just going to just start very little bit like that. I'm probably going to need a little more, just like that. Let's blend this in together. Still awfully dark. I don't think I'm going to have enough paint there anyways, by the looks of it. This is basically what I want right there. So I'm not going to make more. I'm going to trust what I have. So let's just go over to one side here and let's try this out first. So I'm going to go right here. Let me zoom in a little bit right there. And we'll try this out right in here. Just to see if it's a little darker. Than what we had. So you can't really see it, can you? So I'm just going to wait a few seconds. I'm going to zoom in a little more. Let's wait a few seconds to see as it dries if it will darken or not. In the meantime, I'm going to add a little more because I have a feeling I'm not going to be able to see what I put in there. As I said, I'm not used to using this color, so I don't remember really how it tends to blend in or not. So that'll give what I just did time to dry, and then we can tell if it's gonna. Doesn't really look darker though. Does do, it looks blurry though on that. So let me just blend in this darker green here again. I have a feeling this is going to be better, a little bit darker. I mean, that's the other thing. It looks so much better when on the camera, when there's a lot of contrast. But in reality, you don't want too much contrast. But when you're painting on the camera, it looks better when there's contrast, of course. That looks pretty good. I'm sure it's going to dry much darker, so I'm going to continue. Like I said, there's going to be so much more stuff happening on this canvas or on this painting that I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to continue here. Just like that. Not really painting, I'm just tapping this paint on the canvas. There, it's definitely darker right there. Oops. It's sloppy either, even though all that will be covered up, but there we go. Can you see it? Just a little bit. Hopefully down here you'll be able to tell more. There, it's definitely darker. Don't need to go in this area here because that is where my mask bandit is going to be. My warning. Well, it used to be a warning that one day we'll be wearing masks. And I guess as we all noticed for the last 16 months, that came true. Just going over this with a little bit lighter color. It's not too dark. There we go. So there's one. Let me pull this back a little bit. And now I'm going to come back to this light purple. And since I had so much of the darker purple on my palette, it's not going to be very complicated to get a little darker. Look at that, already dark. Don't want it to be too dark again, as I mentioned. So I think I'm ready to go for that. Let me just zoom in a little bit for. I'll zoom in even a little bit more. Right up here. Yeah, that's way dark. Maybe almost too dark. So I am just gonna add a little bit of white right there so I can just find it a little bit darker, but not too dark. This purple is very overwhelming. That's why I have to be careful. That looks like it might be okay. Let's try that. Let's go back to here. Okay, so that's not dark enough. We'll find it. We'll find the right happy middle ground. How's this? There we go. Much better. Much, much better. There we go. Like that. Oops, that's a tendency to get way too dark. As you can see with the purple, it's easier to see the contrast compared to the turquoise. Plus, of course, it's going to darken as it dries, as I keep mentioning, repeating myself. Okay, that looks pretty good. Just get a hair more on the bottom sides here. Just a whisker more purple. This area here. Go. Just like that. And a little more down on this side. Woo! Well, excuse me. Damn, that was loud. So this purple shading is really strong. I'm going over it with some lighter purple so it doesn't stick out too much. But if it does, it doesn't matter. Such a nice color anyways. I'll just put a little bit of subtle, just a little bit of subtle purple in the middle like that. Here it doesn't matter, it's going to all be covered up. Oh, what the heck. There we go. Good way to clean off the brush. So you can see the shading now on these two guys, right? The purple and the green turquoise. So let's come back and do the shading to our blue turquoise. And again, I'm going to just kind of blend the colors in as I go along, kind of like trial and error. So, oops, I guess I'm going to be using this brush as well. So, I'm going to do just like before, go very quickly over to my little kitchen area here, clean off the brush. Don't want to get any purple in with my turquoise. There we go, a little bit of soap. Boom, boom. There we go. So, I must say with the heat and the fan, it dries very quickly. So that's cool. And we'll get the shading in today, so tomorrow we can start tackling the details. Pretty good. So, let me just again add some of this lighter blue turquoise to the darker, so we have a subtle shadowing going on. How's this look? Okay. So let's zoom in up here and see, do a little test run. There we go. Yeah, that's a little dark. Just going to add a little bit of a lighter color to it. There we go. Just like that. Just like that. Very subtle, but I'm sure when it dries, it will definitely get darker. I'm going to resist the temptation of adding too much of the darker turquoise. Just like that. Pull this over and get to the lower part right there. Okay, no point of me going too far there because, again, my nuclear dude is going to be there. My TheZenRebel. And we just got a little bit right here to do. And we'll be all done for the day. Oops. There we go. That is awfully dark right in here. I'm going to add a little bit of the whiter, lighter color. Go back on top of these guys a little bit, just to lighten them up. Oh. Shading on the shading. Lighter shading on the dark shading. There. So let me just step away for a second, take a look. I'll have you join me as well. Let me pull this baby back here. Very good. Okay, so that's cool. So that's how the three little girls look like from up close on camera number 2. And then of course, when you switch over to camera number 1, there you can see the shading and everything. And that's pretty awesome. That brings us to the conclusion of today. So, my friends, I want to thank you once again for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this session as much as I have. It's great to be back in the studio. I'll be back here tomorrow. It's Thursday. The only difference is that tomorrow's show is going to be in French, like I do every Thursday. So join me again here on YouTube tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Brush up on your French. And like usual, I'm going to leave you with 2 things. I'm going to leave you. Is that shine on my nose? Okay. The light's shining on my nose. I thought I had some white paint, which happens quite often, you know. But, and I only notice it when I come here and say goodbye. It does look like I have white paint. I don't know. I'll go wash my face in a few seconds. So once again, I want to thank you for joining me. I'm going to leave you with my schedule and by saying, ciao, mes amis.